happens, I think, for organizations in times like this, the second era of internet, is that they start experiencing what I call performance anxiety. And they start looking for, because it's scary. I mean, it can, stop you in your tracks, this kind of change that we're experiencing. And so what happens in organizations is very often they'll go to that which is easiest. And one of the things we're finding is that one of the places to go is to technology. So what'll happen is I'll work with a company and I'll say, what's your innovation strategy? And they will say, we have an app, right? Or, our phone, our website is now mobile-enabled. And they proudly step back. So it's really, now we need technology. Of course we do. Look at the life that lies ahead of us because of it. So interesting. And we need mobile strategies, digital strategies, of course we do. But what we don't want to do is confuse technology with innovation. Technology is an enabler. The input is creativity. That's what we have to harness. And that brings us, and that exists in people. So that brings us to the second reason I believe that people are dissatisfied with their performance. And it has to do with what I call kind of innovation envy. And this is because here you go. We have heard in those last 2 days about organizations that are doing extremely well in this environment. There are people who are succeeding. And yet, think about it. If you are a small business, as many of us are, or a medium-sized business, or a traditional business that doesn't have a huge technological hook, this is, a bit scary, and yet organizations are doing really well. And so you kind of hold back and think, I wonder why we're not doing as well as we might. There are some fundamental things that need to happen in organizations, and then there's some quick things that you can do. So the first and really most important, the fundamental, which is not going to be a surprise if you're interested in rigor, is you have to, in your organization, embed a process. You have to have an innovation process that your whole organization understands and can engage in. Terrific. Then, and you have to make it simple, easily understood. You can use a 4-step process. You can actually Google a process and then communicate it to your organization and get people involved in it. 4 steps from insight through to implementation. Perfect. Now, why is having a process so important? Here's why. Because this is the way that you apply creativity and extract it and nurture it and foster it and express it in an organization. What we know is this: the most significant source of innovative ideas in an organization is actually the people who work in it. I mean, who is closer to the rock face of a company than the people who are working in customer experience every day, in shipping every day, in all those interactions every day? And here's the other thing we know. We know that successful innovators are absolutely thinking in terms of disruption. Of course they are. And they're thinking in terms of radical. But this is important. 60 to 70% of successful innovators of their innovation focus and effort is actually spent on incremental innovation. Incremental. Now, small innovations, and this, your biggest asset, the people who are in your company, are deeply involved with every day. Now, what we know is that incremental innovation is not going to propel you into the future, but what it is going to do is it's going to keep you healthy. It's going to keep you juicy. It's going to have your people be able to be ready for what's next. Plus, it's going to tap their creativity. Because here's what we know. There was an Adobe study done about 2 years ago, thousands of people around the world. And the big insight was that less than 20% of people feel that they use their creativity at work. Like, that's frightening. What's happening to that creativity? I'll tell you. They have it. We have it. We use it every day in traffic in Toronto. So let's bring it home, baby. So part of our job then is to, and this is the hack, what we have to do is we have to invite our people to play, to use that incredible capacity they have that everyone here has talked about and has. We have to do that. We have to create an environment where ideas, as Matt Ridley says, where ideas can bump into each other, where people and ideas can kind of populate. And really, this is what Matt Ridley says. We have to create an environment where ideas can have sex, which means that leadership becomes about promoting promiscuity, which I think is like delightful. Oh my. Anyway, here's the news. If we do this, if we engage our people with a very simple process, we will have more ideas and more cost effectiveness and more value than we could ever come to expect if we didn't tap it. So we have to tap it, and this is what'll happen. We can self-fund your innovation efforts. It's fantastic, it's brilliant, you're brilliant. Thank you very much.